Hello and welcome to Throwback Games YouTube, and happy Revenge of the 5th, because making Star Wars videos on May the 4th is too mainstream now.
Fun begins.
And speaking about Revenge of the Sith, we are here today to talk about the best Star Wars game, in my humble opinion. Now, I know that's bold, I know that is bold, but Star Wars Episode 3 Revenge of the Sith on the PlayStation 2 and the Xbox was a bloody masterpiece, and I know I can hear it already. What about Battlefront? What about Battlefront? What about Battlefront 2? What about all these games like Jedi Survivor, Jedi Fallen Order, yada yada yada? But no. Hear me out. Star Wars Episode 3 Revenge of the Sith on Xbox on PS2 is the best Star Wars game. Let me tell you why. Now, if you take the fact out that it launched a couple of weeks before the film, it is an almost perfect Star Wars game. Of course, you could obviously play this and see what happens in the film early on, but you know, we're not going to talk about that. We'll shove that to the metaphorical side. First of all, it respected its source material. Obviously, we know there are alternate endings in there, and you can do the Anakin killing the Emperor, but my word, was it so good to play through the story of Episode 3 and see the downfall of Anakin in more detail, where you can go to the Jedi Temple and you can commit these atrocities on the younglings and the oldlings just the same. Nobody was immune from bad man Anakin. Second, the combat was bloody amazing. The lightsabers, they felt weighty. The force powers were ace, and let's not all kid ourselves. As soon as Anakin went evil and we swapped over to that dark side, we fully maxed out the force lightning to make sure that everybody was gonna feel some sort of thunder from the evil hands of Anakin. But if you go back now, the combat, it still holds up today. You can play this game. We have been playing it on stream, subtle plug. And it holds up so well. I would say, apart from Fallen Order, it is the best lightsaber combat, in my opinion. Next, the atmosphere of this game was bloody amazing. You really felt like you were in Utapau. You were going on the ships at the start of the game and going through these levels and playing them. It felt like the game was alive almost. It felt like you were just actually living out your childhood fantasies of being a Jedi and kicking some droid ass. I think the big thing that comes of it as well is you can see the downfall of Anakin, as we mentioned earlier, all the way through this game. It's so good to see, and you can see him take on Mace Windu. You can see him then go to the Jedi Temple and murder everyone. You can then go and see if he is going to, do the normal ending where he sliced up and turns into big old Darth, or he takes over the galaxy by destroying the Emperor. It was just a great game to play through, and these movie tie-in games were amazing at the time. Big shout out to obviously Return of the King as well. And the replay value, my word, seeing it from both perspectives, great. Going through the story again, great. I can always play this game and have a real big level of enjoyment, and also a massive level of frustration and skill issue when it comes to Count Dooku whooping me 24/7 on that first boss level. We know that happens to everyone, it's fine, and anyone that says they beat Count Dooku the first time round is telling fibs. But I think the underrated gem of this game, especially when you were growing up, was the versus mode, where you and a friend can go on Jedi battles against each other and prove who is the ultimate Jedi master. And for me, I remember playing this with my really close friend Sam. We sat down and we played on the Mustafar level, where you're on that tiny platform and you're just spamming, and General Grievous does his spinny thing. Oh my word, great core childhood memories were had with this game. And I think when you go back and you sit down and do like a versus level against each other, it is just really fun to relive those memories and see that they still hold up, unlike many games that we get today. I think one of the biggest things that is important with this game is how much care and love the developers put into a franchise that we know deserves it. I am an avid Star Wars fan. If you cannot tell from, that's the wrong side. If you cannot tell from the Stormtrooper hair, there's a Mandalorian over there. Episode 3 is just chilling there. I've got the Darth Vader helmet, which I sweat to death in on a stream last night. I love Star Wars so much, and for years I feel it has been sapped of its identity, and maybe not given the love that it needs. Don't get me wrong, don't come at me with, Mandalorian was great, Mandalorian Season 1, 2, very good, Mandalorian Season 3, where Jack Black and Lizzo are on a planet with Grogu, don't get what's going on, don't like it, and that's just my opinion. And Star Wars, I feel, is a very opinionated fan base, but I'm trying to understand everyone's opinion. I love stuff like Ahsoka, I love Andor, I'm starting to watch Darth Maul, but I just feel, game-wise, we have been sapped of good Star Wars games for a while. Let's take out the fact that Outlaws exists, because, I picked it up really cheap, and I don't think it was that bad, but if you're paying £70 for that, you've fallen into the Ubisoft trap, unfortunately. It was a time when movie tie-in games were rife, and they were made with love, care, and for the fans, most importantly, for us as fans, they were so important, because it was like, oh, Mom, take me to Asda and buy me this game. Or what does Milhouse say? Buy me Bone Storm or go to hell. That was me, but with Revenge of the Sith. I think that the movie tie-in games that we had in the past, yes, not all of them were great. There were a few that were terrible, but the ones that really tried to put us in the film and give us the experience, they were amazing, and I don't think we'll ever get something like that again, in my opinion. And for those reasons, I think it is the best Star Wars game, because it just creates that vibe and, sense of I'm living what I saw in the cinema through the visual medium of video games. It's great, and I don't really have anything else to add apart from my 2 cents on it being the best Star Wars game. Games like this remind us of the eras that have gone by, in the PS2 and 360 era especially, when these games were made with love. It didn't just make you watch Anakin fall through the game, it made you feel it, and it made you be part of it. If you've never played it, I highly recommend going back to play it. It is definitely a game that holds up in all regards. If you're a Star Wars fan and you haven't played it, I almost feel it's essential, especially when you get to the Mustafar level, because it's quite fun replaying that over and over and over and over again. But from me and Max Rebo, who has been sitting on my crotch for the past 20 minutes while I've been making this, it's goodbye for this one, and happy Revenge of the Sith.